All right. Hello. Good day. How are you? I'm fine. Um, it's Angel Benton, and I'm here to do another live stream, Dancing for Relevancy, where we discuss the people that were voted off of Dancing with the Stars this past week. And I know you're probably thinking, oh, well, the show's not even on anymore. Well, it's not on in America right now, but it is on in Ireland and it is on in Australia. So before I get to that, so today I went to the movie theater that always has the anime revivals. Let's see if I can get a little closer. That's better. So you know the movie theater that has all the anime revivals? This time they actually did a revival of Legopolis, which was a Doctor Who episode, which was the end of the fourth Doctor and the very beginning of the fifth Doctor, which Tom Baker was the fourth Doctor. And it was interesting. Like, I really enjoyed it actually a lot more than I thought I would. Like, I knew I would enjoy it, but, because here's the thing. So I didn't start watching Doctor Who until the newer batch of episodes that started with Christopher Eccleston as the Doctor and Billie Piper. So Billie Piper, long story long. So everyone knows that, I had that whole drama with Britney Spears, 20 years ago. And there was a brief period of time when I was like, fuck it, I'm not doing Britney Spears anymore. I'm going to do Billie Piper. Because Billie Piper at the time was basically like the British Britney Spears. But she only had 2 albums that came out. And then after that, she gave up pop music and she went into acting. And she was cast as the new Doctor Who's companion. So I was like, okay, well, I didn't used to like this show when I was a little kid. When I was a little kid, my folks would watch the show and I would it scared me. I'd be like, no, I can't, it used to give me nightmares. So now I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, I must have been really young because I can't believe that would be scary to me, but it is what it is. So I don't have a super fond memory of all those older episodes. But this time I actually got to see the newer episodes, and I got to see the newer episodes, and I really fell in love with the show. So now that I've seen this old one with the new perspective, it's really great. I really enjoy it quite a bit. So it's really cool. Okay. Anyways, sorry. So, I gotta tell you, last week was daylight savings time, in America, we actually, we sprung forward an hour. I don't know if they did that no, I take that back. I don't know if they do that in Ireland or Australia, but I do know that they didn't do it when we did it. So Sunday, normally, because I watch this shit live here in the United States. So it starts at 6:30 in Ireland on Sunday night. So that's 10:30 a.m. here, except now it was 11:30 a.m. Same thing with Australia. Normally it's on Monday nights at 7:30, but I actually would watch it at 12:30 at night, early Monday morning, late Sunday night. But now it's 1:30. And the Dancing with the Stars Australia is actually 2 hours and 15 minutes, which again, kind of weird, but it's 2 hours and 15 minutes, that's fine. I don't mind. It's just a weird amount of time, but it is what it is. But that meant that it was from, 1:30 until 3:45. But I did it. I literally, so what I did on Sunday, I watched Dancing with the Stars Ireland. It was really good. Then I went and I got my lottery tickets. I swear I better hit the lottery. I need it bad. I need it bad. Okay. So, I came back and then I realized, oh shit, if it didn't work in Ireland, it might not work in Australia. So I did some Google and I found out that they hadn't turned yet. So I was like, fuck, okay, I can do this, right? So I went right to bed at like 6:30, woke up at 1, watched the show, went to bed at 4, woke up at 7. So I got like 8 hours of sleep in. It wasn't that bad actually. So no, I got more than that. I got like 9 hours of sleep. So I did. It was just broken up. They call that polyphasic sleeping. That's what they call that. Now they say so. If you ever read, there's a guy Tim Ferriss. Tim Ferriss has a book. It's actually really interesting. It's about I forget what it's called, but it's all about secrets to doing shit. I forget what it's called. I'll have to look at it. But one of the things that he talks about is polyphasic sleeping. And he says if you can just do a 15-minute nap, then you can be just do a nap and then you're up for 45 minutes and then do a nap and then you're up, and then you'll still get your, however many hours of sleep in, but you'll also be able to be up all day and all night. I don't know how I could do that because let me tell you something. My favorite thing to do in the entire world is sleep. I fucking love sleeping. I love it. You know what? It's funny is that I think that it's like whenever you dream and you go into dreamland, you can do all kinds of crazy things that you can't do in real life. And I don't even necessarily want to have like control. I just enjoy seeing what my brain is thinking of. And sometimes dreams are meant to tell you something and sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're just dreams. I love it though. I love sleeping. I literally could sleep for 12 hours a day if I could. Absolutely, without a question, I could totally do it. So, it is what it is. I love it. All right, so let's talk about Dancing with the Stars Ireland. That's where we're going to start because that's the first one that airs. So this week on Dancing with the Stars Ireland, they had Eurovision night. Now, a little background because in America, Eurovision is not a thing. Unless you're gay, we know the gays know what Eurovision is. They don't really know outside of American gays. And even then, it's American gays of a certain age. But Eurovision is a song contest, and they have entries from every country in Europe, as well as Israel and Australia. They both participate as well. And then they entered their best pop song into this contest, and then, if they win, they win. If they don't, they don't. But like, I know that one year, that song by Gina G, ooh, just a little bit, ooh, a little bit more. I love that song. That song was, if it didn't win, it came close one year. And if it won, it would have won for Australia. But it was a good one. And then, of course, the most infamous Eurovision was when ABBA won with Waterloo, and that's kind of what catapulted ABBA into the global stage. Now you know that ABBA is my absolute favorite band of all time. Steps comes a very close second, but ABBA is my absolute favorite. I'm actually going tomorrow night. I'm going to see an ABBA cover band at Mandalay Bay, and they're from England. They're called ABBA Mania. I'm very excited about it. I'm really excited. But like, I think that certain countries put more stock into Eurovision than others. So like, I think, and I could be wrong. So if I'm wrong here, hit me up in the comments and let me know. Actually, I do want to say that I need to make a little correction on the last video that I did when I talked about the live tour of Dancing with the Stars that I got to see, and I talked about how Emma was the OG because she had done the most tours of anyone on tour right now. She's actually done all of the tours. So because and I want to say a shout out to the what was her? I think her name is Naya. I thought, ooh, is that Naya from The Real World? But then I'm like, God, I hope not, because Naya from The Real World is kind of scary. And if you think, let's talk about that real quick. So this is from Real World Portland, and Naya was like, this is what I don't understand. Why is it that David from Real World Los Angeles, season 2, when he pulled the covers off of Tammy, and it wasn't not funny. That was what she said. It wasn't not funny. They kicked him out of the house. But Naya was literally like punching Johnny and Avery in the face. And she got to still live there. Like, I don't understand that at all. Like, I need someone from the Bunim Murray production team to tell me why that was, because that is not fair. That is totally not fair. It's really kind of fucked up. Okay. So, anyway, I just thought I would. But anyways, Naya told me that Emma's done all the tours. So I did a little research, and she's 100% right. Emma has done all the tours. What I was thinking of is they actually had a residency show here in Las Vegas at the Tropicana. And that had Joey Fatone, Drew Lachey. They had like a few other like celebrities in it. It was, you know, it was a lot more star laden than an actual tour was. So Emma wasn't part of that because that was way before she joined the show. But I do have to say, I did enjoy it. And it was great. Okay, so anyway, so I just thought I'd let you know that. So shout out to you, Naya. Thank you so much for your feedback. I do appreciate it. And I'm always willing to admit when I'm wrong. Okay, so one thing about Eurovision, like I said, I think, and like I said, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'll admit it next week if I am wrong. The British people aren't that into Eurovision anymore. Maybe they just had one too many losses and they've had the Eurovision sort of beaten out of them. Ireland, though, is another motherfucking story, okay? Ireland has won it 7 times. So, kudos to you, Ireland. That is fucking great. Now, here's the thing, though. Normally, while Dancing with the Stars is airing, I've got my iPad in one hand, and then I've got my phone with the Twitter feed going in the other. And what was interesting is that there's a lot of people that are protesting Eurovision this year because it was won by Israel last year, and whoever wins the year before, the next year it takes place in their country. So this year Eurovision is in Israel, and there are a lot of people that are protesting that they're very anti-Israel, pro-Palestine, and I just found that interesting. That's all. It is what it is. I just thought it was like, oh, okay, that's kind of, you know, it's unfortunate because I had to like scroll through all these comments about, you know, this Eurovision coming up, but I was like and they were all hashtagging all of their fucking shit with DWTS IRL. I'm like, God damn it, who gives it? Okay, whatever. So, Eurovision. Okay. So, Eurovision night, the first couple to dance was Fred and Julia, and they did a samba to We've Got the World by Mickey Jo Hart, which was an Ireland entry into Eurovision in 2003. It came in 11th place. It didn't really win that win. But Fred knew the song. He's like, I love the song. He was like all about it. And they didn't do that bad. Were they the worst ones of the night? I think so, but I'm just saying. But they didn't do that bad. So they ended up, I mean, the judges thought they were the worst of the night because they only got a 17. So Brian Redmond gave them a 5. And then Lorraine and Julian each gave them 6. Then there was Johnny and Emily. Johnny just came and fucking nailed it. He did a contemporary ballroom piece to Rise Like a Phoenix by Conchita Wurst, which was the first place entry from Austria in 2014. And Conchita Wurst is the drag queen with like the full beard, but she's like a full drag queen. And Johnny and Emily kicked ass. In fact, they got the very first perfect score, 3 10s, of the entire season so far. So kudos to you, Johnny. You are unstoppable. Then there was Cleona and Robert, and they did a Charleston to Puppet on a String by Sandy Shaw, which came in first for the United Kingdom, but that was in 1967. That was pre-ABBA, right? Now, when they did their routine, I saw it, and listen, she did everything perfect, but I mean, while it was going on, I was like, this is not enough Charleston content for the judges. And sure enough, every single one of the judges were like, the Charleston content you had was good, but there was hardly any of it. So I was like, and Robert was like, this is all about creative license. And I'm thinking, okay, so this is kind of the sort of shit that in America we put up with all the time with Mark Ballas, because I feel like Mark Ballas would be penalized because he would be so creative. However, Mark Ballas knew to always keep that creativity within whatever dance he had to do. So if he had to do a Charleston, he would be his super weird creative self, which I love, but he would have lots of Charleston content in there. So I was like, okay, what? All right, So, and the fact that he was kind of talking back and talking about that, I hope Cleona kicks his ass just a little bit, and be like, okay, bitch, next time we're giving them all the content. They got a 25. Brian and Lorraine gave them 8. Julian gave them a 9. Then there was Clelia and Vitali. They did a waltz to All Kinds of Everything by Dana, which another first place from Ireland, but that was in 1970, again, pre-ABBA. But it was very pretty and it was very cute, although she did mess up on her footwork that first time, and I was like, oh, girl. Spoiler alert, she was in the dance-off. So I was like, oh, damn. But I knew she would be. I knew she would be. I mean, I was hoping it would be Mairead, but it wasn't Mairead. I was like, and, okay, so let's talk about Mairead. Mairead and John, well, anyway, so Claudia and Vitali, they got 19. They got 2 6s from Brian and Lorraine, and then Julian gave him a 7. Okay, then there was Mairead and John. They did a Paso Doble to Euphoria by Loreen, and that was a first place winner from Sweden in 2012. Okay, so here's the thing about Mairead and John. Mairead knows her fucking shit when it comes to Eurovision. Like, she was quizzing people on it. I mean, she is all about it. Which, again, you don't see that too much in England, but Ireland, I mean, she is all about it. So I actually give her a little bit of props. I definitely didn't think there was it didn't strike me as being that much of a Paso Doble, to be honest with you. But the judges gave them a 27, which was the second highest of the night. Yeah. Okay, so then they had the Eurothon. Well, then they opened up the voting. Oh, and then, so yeah, 27. They got 3 9s. Okay, so then they opened up the voting, and then they did a Eurothon where they danced to Making Your Mind Up by Bucks Fizz, which, again, was a first place from the United Kingdom. But that was in 1981. Now, that was post-ABBA, but, okay, so I love how I categorize Eurovision into pre-ABBA and post-ABBA, because ABBA's fierce. I'm sorry. Okay, so the first ones out were Clelia and Vitali, so they only got 1 point. The next ones out were Fred and Julia. They got 2 points. Then the next ones out were Mairead and John. They got 3. And I knew that it would come down to Cleona and Robert and Johnny and Emily, because really, those are the 2 best dancers in the show. So Cleona came in second, and Johnny came in first. So Johnny got 5 points, Cleona got 4, Mairead got 3, Fred and Julia got 2, and Clelia got 1. So they had the dance-off. The dance-off were between the bottom 2 couples, which were Fred and Julia, and Clelia and Vitali. Now, this is what pissed me off. Fred did pretty much the exact same routine he did before, right? He didn't make any mistakes, but it was a little bit pedestrian, right? Okay. Then, Clelia and Vitali, they did their dance, and she actually improved. She didn't make any mistakes at all. And so then it came time for the judges to say who they were saving. Julian said he was saving Fred and Julia, and I was like, okay, you're dead to me. Brian Redmond, on the other hand, who knew that I would actually agree with Brian Redmond? Brian Redmond was like, Fred and Julia did great, but I want to save Clelia and Vitali. I was like, yes, yes. And then it came down to head judge Lorraine. and she wanted to save Fred and Julia. So they sent Clelia and Vitaly packing. And I was so upset. I was like, God, fuck you, bitch. God damn it. I was so pissed. I mean, Clelia was lovely in her exit. She was quite graceful, and she said, you know, I had the best time. I had the time of my life. I love all these people, and now I'm going to just keep dancing for the rest of my life. I mean, she's so awesome. I love Clelia. So I'm totally going to be looking up videos on YouTube and shit, trying to watch her, because she's just phenomenal. She really is. You know what I'm also going to look up? I'm going to look up music videos by Cleona Hagen, too, because I love her as well. So, yeah, okay, anyways. Next week is going to be St. Patrick's Day week, which you know that they're going to be doing some shit in England. It actually starts even later in Ireland this next week, because it is they're showing footage of a parade, a St. Patrick's Day. I might tune in a little bit early just so I can see what their St. Patrick's Day parade is. I don't know. Anyways, so as opposed to England and America, where they have the finale is the top four. This was only the quarterfinal. So this was only the semifinal. Quarterfinal. This was the quarterfinal. So next week is the semifinals, and then the week after that is the final. So they only have 3 in the final. So we'll see one more elimination next week. Fred and Julia. I'm just saying. I love you, Fred Kook. You know I've been with you. I've been with you the whole time, but now we've reached the point where it's time for you to go. Okay. So now let's hop across the pond to Australia. Now, luckily, I'll be able to spend a little bit more time talking about Australia this week, because last week I didn't really, because I spent a lot of time talking about America and Ireland, and I didn't get too much time to talk about Australia. This time I've got a little bit more time. I'm going to go into more detail about Australia. First of all, I've got to say I love the hosts. They are hilarious. I enjoy them. I enjoy them immensely. You know, I hate to say this because this is going to make me sound like such a bitch. But in Ireland, so I love Tom. I love Tom and Aaron. I don't know where I got Fred from. I love Tom and Aaron. I think Aaron is his best co-host he's had so far, besides Miss Piggy. I love Miss Piggy. You know, I would kill to have Miss Piggy come back. I don't mind Jordan and Frankie on DWTS Juniors. I don't have a problem with them. They're great. I love Claudia and Tess in England on Strictly Come Dancing. I love them. But in Ireland, they've got it's hosted by this guy that he's in this band called Westlife, which is a boy band that was formed by Ronan Keating, who was in this other boy band called Boyzone. So he's famous, right? So he's the host. And then there's the other host this year is someone new. It's this chick named Jennifer Zamparelli. It makes me wonder, like, let me put it to you this way. She makes Brooke Burke look fabulous. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, so the hosts in Australia, I really enjoy them as well. And they are Amanda Byram and Grant something. What is her name? Amanda Keller and Grant Denyer. Okay, they're hilarious. So this week was Latin night. The first couple to dance was Samuel and Georgia, and they did a samba to Mas Que Nada by Sergio Mendes featuring the Black Eyed Peas. Samuel did this really heavy emotional dance last week, and this week he was okay. Not that great, but he was all right. He got a 17. Craig's a fucking bitch, but you know what I love about Craig? He's a bitch, but there are times when I want to shake him, but I get where he's coming from. He makes Len look like a fucking teddy bear, right? So I don't mind him that much. So he gave them a 5, and then Sharna and Tristan gave them 6s. Then there was Jet and Lily. Jet, is the really good-looking surfer / model. And he did a rumba to When I Was Your Man by Bruno Mars. Okay, so here's the thing about rumba. You know that rumba is really one of the hardest dances for a man to learn, because the man is featured as opposed to every other dance on that dance floor. It's all about presenting the girl, but with the exception of maybe contemporary ballroom, and then they're more like on an even playing field. But the only one where it really kind of features the man is the rumba. So the man's got to be on it. And so I didn't feel like he really truly brought it for the rumba. So he did better than Samuel, though. Craig gave him a 6, and then Sharna and Tristan gave him 7s. Then there was Jimmy and Alexandra. They did a salsa to I Know You Want Me, You Know I Want Ya. I Know You Want Me, You Know I Want Ya by Pitbull, which samples, actually, technically, it samples These Sounds Fall Into My Mind, Da Bomb by Bucketheads. So it was a hit in the 90s. But that song actually sampled Street Player by Chicago from the 70s, which actually was that's my favorite Chicago song, actually, is Street Player. I love Street Player. But you don't really see that performed too much. There's a Chicago cover band called Brass Transit that tours a lot. They don't really do Street Player in their shows, and that kind of makes me upset, because that's my favorite Chicago song. I love it. So they did and Craig was not that impressed with them. He gave them a 5, and then the other Sharna and Tristan gave them 7s. So he got a 19. He did better than Samuel. I love Jimmy Reese. I love him. He is on a children's show in Australia, and his name is Jimmy Giggles in it, and he's just adorable. He is adorable, he is lovely, and he's a phenomenal dancer. So I think personally, as of now, I'm gonna call it. I think the top 2 will definitely be Jimmy Giggles and Courtney Act. But that's just my opinion as of now. That might change. But I'm telling you what, I called that Ireland shit real quick. I mean, yes, I did say Clelly would be in the top 4, but I definitely think that Courtney and Jimmy Giggle will be in the top 2. Okay, so then there was Michelle and Arik. Michelle she's kind of like, and I kind of got to see a little of what she does. So she's like a fitness guru. So she has like shit that you can buy that helps you lose weight, and she's got videos you can watch and all that stuff, right? So she's like real all about fitness. So she did a Paso Doble to Survivor. She got a 21. Everyone gave her a 7. It wasn't that bad. She wasn't that bad. Did I think that it was worse than Jimmy Giggles? Not really. But was it as good as Jimmy Gill? Yeah, pretty much. I would say so. I just think that, Craig needs to... That's one interest where I want to, tell Craig to actually watch the numbers. Okay, so then there's Kurtley and Siobhan. Now, Kurtley is this really tall cricket player, and he's from some Caribbean island. I don't know which one. I can find out. I'll find out next week. I'll find out. They did a Cha-Cha-Cha to Smooth by Santana and Rob Thomas. That was the second lowest of the night. Craig gave them a 4, and then Tristan Sharon gave them 5s. Okay. So then there was Cassandra and Marco. Now, when I first started watching The Real Housewives of Melbourne, I wasn't sure if Jackie was like, that was her real personality, or if she was just putting it on for the camera. Like, is she pulling one over on the audience? I'm going, is she really like this? And Cassandra was kind of the same way. Now, we found out later that actually is Jackie's personality, and I kind of love her for it. But Cassandra she was kind of a tough nut to crack. And I don't want to call her delusional, but I definitely don't know if she saw what we all saw, or if she did, she was putting on like a brave face, but it was kind of too brave because it made her look cocky, like way cocky. And she did a cha 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 to Oye Como Va by Tito Puente. She was off time like all throughout the number, and Craig gave her a 2. Sharna gave her a 3, and Tristan gave her a 4. So she got a 9. She didn't even break double digits. So that was like, okay. Then there was Olympia and Jared. Now, Olympia is Olympia Valance. I need to look up Olympia Valance because I need to see if she's related to Holly Valance or not. Olympia Valance. I know that yep, her older half sister, Holly Valance. I knew it. I mean, it's kind of like, okay, there aren't that many people named Valance. So I was just like, especially in Australia. So I was like, okay. So anyways, Holly, I'm not sorry, not Holly Valance. Has Holly Valance been on Dancing with the Stars? I need to look and see. She's fierce. I'll find out about that, and I'll tell you next week if Holly Valance, because obviously it would have been before I started watching, because I just started watching this week. So Olympia and Jared did an Argentine tango to Epoca by Gotan Project. They were not bad. They got an 8 from Craig and 2 9s from Tristan and Sharna. Not bad at all. Then there was Constance and Gustavo. Now, Constance is a blogger, and she's got like all these kids. She's got like 10 kids. And she does a lot of charity work, and she goes to a lot of poor countries and helps the children in the poor countries. Like she's kind of incredible. And a lot of people in America know who Constance is because they follow her on YouTube or her blog, whatever. She's not bad either. I would say, you know what? I would say she would be in the top 4 as well because she's pretty good. She got an 18. She got 3 6s for this samba. She did a samba to Cheap Thrills by Sia. And the only thing I think that she could have done a little bit different is that, you know how, okay, how can I say this? Okay, so one of the issues I had with Clelia on her number is that when her and Vitali were doing the same thing but mirror images of each other, they weren't hitting the same levels. So like, whereas Vitali would be like finishing a line like this, Clelia was like down like that. And so it didn't look good from an audience perspective, you know? So it felt like she wasn't giving the full energy, you know, to the movement. Constance is the opposite problem. Everything was full out. Everything was like, it was a little bit crazy. So, and I wouldn't necessarily fault her for that, but I would fault Gustavo because I would be like, that is where Gustavo needs to be a good partner and say, okay, that was good, but I need you a little bit more inside. Not that much, you know. It's much easier to have someone tone it down than it is to try to drag a performance out of someone. I've said that over and over and over again because it's so true. So, but she's a good one. And then there was Courtney and Josh. And they did a samba to La Isla Bonita. And they only got 24. They got 3 8. So they've been on top of the leaderboard for the last 3 weeks in a row. And this week they didn't. And they kind of seemed a little bit relieved. Excuse me. They kind of seemed a little bit relieved that they weren't at the top of the leaderboard. So I would probably say, yeah, Olympia. She'd probably be there too. So so I'm gonna call it the top 4 in Australia are gonna be Olympia, Constance, Courtney, and Jimmy Giggles. Those are gonna be my top 4. I'm gonna call it right now. But they were pretty good. It was a really good show. The one thing about Courtney and Josh was that Courtney was a little bit, I hate to say this because this makes me sound, again, like a big bitch, but it was not quite as soft and feminine, because if you're going to be in drag, then you need to be dancing in drag. And sometimes he was, but there were times when it was like he was attacking moves like a boy would, right? And so that's when you need to be like, okay, well, this is, all right, well, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think he needs to just calm down a little bit. But anyways, next week is going to be big band night, so I'm excited about it. We have time. I've got a quick time. Let's see if Holly Valance has been on Dancing with the Stars Australia. Let's see. Dancing with the Stars Australia. Okay, so let's see, cast. So let's see. Okay. Oh no, those are the pros. Oh my God, come on. Holly Valance. Okay, well, I don't know. But I know, let's go back and let's look at Olympia Valance, and then we'll click on Holly Valance. Holly Valance, there we go. So she was on Neighbors, got it. Prison Break. Oh, I guess she's never done it. Huh. Well, oh, she lived in Los Angeles for 7 years and then returned to England in 2009. Okay, but I guess well, well, then they need to get that bitch on Dancing with the Stars. I mean, yeah, she was a pop star, but I mean, that wouldn't be the first time they've had someone with dance experience on the show. I say, let's do it. Maybe when her sister goes to the finals, she'll be like, oh, well, maybe I can do better than my sister. I don't know. Well, whatever. We'll see. Anyways, that's it for this week. So I want to say thank you to everybody that took time out of your busy schedules today to listen to my live stream, and to all the people that are watching the catch up on YouTube. Shout out to you, all my peeps in Ireland, the UK, Australia, and Japan. Please feel free to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Angel Benton. And until next week, peace out.